This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215, follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Them's your options.
Morning, boys. Good
Morning.
to be back.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome back. In fact, it's the first time we've had the A-team together for about 3 weeks, isn't it? Lovely.
Yes.
What's my role in that? I see myself as BA.
I'll be honest,
Although I like
what,
a
do you
plane.
fly the flag?
No. Well, he doesn't, does he, BA Baracus?
Oh,
Because
no,
obviously we know he's not a fan of aviation.
He
That
ain't
was
getting in
Mr.
that
T,
plane.
was it?
Yeah, BA Baracus, yeah.
I've never seen the A-team.
Al, you strike me very much as a little boy in his pyjamas watching the A-Team.
Big fan.
I knew you would
I was a
be.
big fan.
I was an older boy lying in his own urine in the gutter when the A-team was on.
Early.
So I started early on a Saturday. Yeah, that's why I never saw it. Never saw Starsky and Hutch.
Right.
Well, this is a nice list to make. Things I never saw because I was out
Yeah.
cold from alcohol.
Yes, it. Alcoholic
First link.
absenteeism.
It's the opening link of the show. Love it.
Oh, sorry.
Al, do you like... Oh, sorry.
I don't believe it.
No, we've gone too early on the darkness.
I
Say
like
that
it.
to Justin Hawkins.
Yeah,
Remember
he's
him?
still around actually.
Oh.
Is he?
Yeah, because I'm touring at the Mini, and I like to read a brochure when I go to a theatre,
Oh, yes.
and he's part of a sort of a retro package show that's going around.
Lovely.
I don't know if you remember, but he certainly had a retro. No,
Yes.
yeah. So he's still at it,
How's
Justin Hawkins.
let me think how I can put this in a way. No, I can't. How's the hair?
It looks exactly the same
Okay.
to me. Yeah,
Great.
I think it's very important with celebrities of all kinds that if you're not still right out there, and I speak, as a man with a foot in both camps here, you've got to look exactly like you used to look, otherwise no one will know who you are. So people hold on to that look for much longer than a lot of people. Willie Thorne, always the snooker player, is the one I think of with the black moustache.
Yes.
So I think if Justin Hawkins has his hair cut, no one's going to spot him.
Okay.
Okay, that's my view. He had a lovely voice, and God bless him. Still
It's a
working.
good theory. I like your theory because there are certain people that go from the ponytail to being normal sort of civilian members of society, but they're often sports people.
They're invisible.
But
people.
you're right. I mean, Mariah never changed.
Well, I told you, didn't I? I did a short film with David Baddiel in which we recreated something that happened to us in the 90s. So I was playing me in the 90s, so I made my hair look more or less like it did in the 90s.
It was a bit more sort of Ravers Bob.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it was, and I obviously had clothes left from the 90s, which I hadn't worn for a bit, I think it might have been the Planet Hollywood leather varsity jacket.
Yeah.
So I got dressed like that, and I thought, well, I'll just put it on. And I lived very near. This is when I lived on the river. I could walk to London studios. So I walked down. I've never been recognised by so many people since the 90s. So it does work. I basically went to a fancy dress party as me, to a 90s party, and yeah.
I also like the notion of you living on the river like Wind in the Willows.
Yeah, well,
Messing about with Ratty.
But I could walk to what was then one of the main studios in London in about 15 minutes, which is, it's always nice to arrive on foot when everyone else is...
You just mentioned David Baddiel, and
yes.
that's reminded me, I don't know if he's listening. If not, this is a waste, because I was at my male groomers yesterday, my dog groomers.
Oh, yeah.
He's a gay gentleman.
Okay.
And I was looking through my Instagram to show him pictures of Ray's hair.
Yeah.
We have to look through to say, how do you want it? What style?
Ray's Emily's
Right.
dog for
Yeah.
new readers starting here.
Not Reardon. So he looked through and he said, he's Irish, I won't do the accent because I'll get wrong, but he said, is that David Baddiel in that picture? Because it was me, David and Raymond.
Yeah.
I
And you
"Yeah."
said, no, that's right. Or just put glasses on him for like a joke.
I said, yes. He went, God, he's hot.
Oh,
I mean, this man is, I would say, 24, absolutely stunning.
How long have you had that for?
I know that David is very happily attached,
Yeah.
but he said it. I mean, he said, God, he's hot. He looks incredible.
Oh, that's nice.
He's
though, isn't
so
it?
handsome. He said, he's fit.
I mean, I imagine a dog groomer gets a twisted view of how a human being should look. But even so, I think we should take our compliments where we can
Yes.
where we can
I
get
mean,
them.
hot for deal.
Yeah. What about if Dave heard this and thought, I'm going to investigate? Just got a dog from Battersea just to take it there for the day, and then left it tied by the side of an A road, and they started a relationship, and that was like a life-changing thing. Just this little bit of gossip. Wouldn't that be incredible? Then we could get back together, and I'd interview him and say, well, it's all funny, isn't it, you two? Because they're married now, and they got the dog back as a sort of a thing to show, as a remorse thing. And I said, it's great that you two got together, and it's all because of that story. And I think that'd be
lovely for Moena, his partner, as well.
David have his hair pulled up on top of his head, but with a ribbon on it.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
I've done my Friday night trawl, where I sort of scroll through some emails that we might have received on a Friday evening. Because if not, they're just wasted. They get caught.
No, that'd be wrong.
And we've had our old friend, the Eureka moment, pop back into someone's life.
We should say Eureka moment is when you realise something that most other people knew for years, and it just finally dawns on you, this thing.
It's not a sort of Sven Goran Eriksson reference to when everything
No.
collapsed in your life.
No. The example I always give is that Maureen Lipman used to play BT in the BT adverts, and I never put together that she was called BT because it was a BT advert, that kind of thing. I realised 5 years later.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Dear Frank, Emily and Alan, we were recently doing a walk in Northumberland, starting from Bamborough Castle. This sounds right up your street, doesn't it?
I was in Bamborough Castle a couple of weeks ago.
When my
course you
husband, my husband had a eureka moment. He was reading out the directions and said, "Walk down to the sandy shore." Hang on a minute, for he had just realised the significance on Sandy Shore's name.
Yes.
Brilliant. Yeah, we should say for younger members, Sandy Shore was a 60s pop singer who was called Sandy Shore. Yeah.
Yes,
but it didn't seem to me a big stretch. I don't mean the shore. I mean, not to get that Sandy Shore is a reference to a Sandy Shore is going.
Yeah.
So.
They continue on the subject of OXO cubes, which we were discussing nibbling, and some people crumbling onto oranges recently.
Yes, and you may recall, Al,
Yes.
I bought a packet during recently, just because Frank had given me the taste for them again.
Ah, yes. Well, I had a Terry's chocolate orange, or I had a segment
Big wow.
last week, and it occurred to me none of the other fruits have got that treatment, to my knowledge.
Good point.
Terry's never said this has been quite a success. What about a banana?
You're right. I would like a Terry's chocolate banana.
Yeah, I think that'd be. I
might prefer
every
it.
time I have a Terry's chocolate orange, which is not often, not because I don't like them. I wouldn't go into a shop and get one just to eat walking down the street. It would seem wrong.
Yeah. 5 a day.
I'm impressed. They're always a little bit more orangey than I remember them.
Right.
I mean, it's profoundly orange. Really.
I don't like them. So
You don't like them?
I'm a tough crowd on those.
I think I don't know, I think it might be amongst the king of chocolate. Up there with After Eights for a classic.
I tell you what I would like to.
I love an After Eight.
So do I.
If I would bring out limited edition Terry's chocolate orange with the M&M and the enamelling on an M&M.
Yeah.
I'd have little white enamelled pips in the.
That's a good idea.
Weird.
Terry's
I'd have
chocolate
that,
orange.
and then I'd want some sort of, I think, famous Terry's. I'd love a Wogan or a John Terry special.
Yeah.
And then you choose which one you like, maybe.
I think the technology exists now for them to go for other orange, like the Terry's chocolate Satsuma or
Yeah, easy peeler.
kumquat. You love a kumquat.
Although silver paper's a fairly easy peeler. There is. What about this? If I was very rich, and pause. If I was very rich,
Al, do you want to deal with this, or shall I?
What I'd like, because especially, when people eat, they eat Peloponnesian starlings and stuff like that, because I would live there's a sort of central stalk on a Terry's chocolate orange.
Yes.
Which is set just on those. A plate of those. I mean, really expensive. Throw the segments away or give them to the poor. But just have a plate of those central segments. That
I
would be lifting it up.
3 houseboys in white gloves. That's their job. The Terry's chocolate orange separator.
Yeah, exactly.
Stalk removers.
Just because if anyone breaks a stalk, they're fired.
They answer the phone, they go, "Hello, Frank Skinner.
Hello.
Stalk remover." That's literally their job.
Oh, the indulgence of that. So I think you're in the middle of something,
Sorry,
Al, but we've got a Fez moment. We'll
come back to it.
Can you bookmark that?
Yeah, easily.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I just had a little closure on this email where they've realised that Sandy Shore meant Sandy Shore, and then they were saying that OXO cubes. Excuse me. On the subject of OXO cubes, I remember when Twiglets were about 5 inches long. They were long, weren't they? And came in cardboard boxes.
They could be mistaken for a Terry's chocolate orange stalk in bad light.
Oh, yeah. A thick one that came out a bit wrong on the old
It's not really
factory.
a stalk, it's more of a spine, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, you're right. They were more robust.
They claim they came in cardboard boxes. When you'd eaten them, you could get all the marmitey bits out of the corners of the box with your finger, which was nearly as good as eating OXO cubes.
And a bit of cardboard dust as well, just to thicken it up.
This is the calibre of our audience.
Well, I
like it.
Can I tell you what the stalk is? I do, forgive me, I've forgotten what they're called, but what are they? They're not batons, but what they use in the marching parades, they toss up in the air.
They are batons.
Is it a baton?
Yeah.
They're very thin, the stalk. Okay.
It'd be good. You know those matchstick puzzles when you have to move one match and make 3 triangles? Yes. It'd be good to play those with a Terry's chocolate orange spines, and then the first person to do it gets to eat the spines.
Oh, that'd be nice.
That's a nice Christmas game.
That's a great idea. Or just eat one.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the mistakes that Terry's chocolate orange publicists
John
have made.
Terry's.
I think they've allowed it to become a sort of a festive thing. And there's no need. It's not like people only eat oranges at Christmas. If they brought out a chocolate turkey, you can understand why that would happen.
Totally.
Frank,
That's what I'm saying.
we've just had a missive in from 878. He just wanted to say hello. He's the financial journalist you met yesterday by the lift.
Yes.
We should say Frank's not involved in some insider dealing scandal.
No.
But he was in the news building and in News UK, and he said he had a lovely conversation with you.
I asked him about Brexit, basically, because I thought he's a financial journalist. He'll have some
He
insights.
said, please tell Frank I did manage to get tickets for his show, after all. So there you go, you've made a sale.
Oh, well, there you go. Financial journalist. He's got contacts. That's a very nice chap. He's very nice about the radio show. Obviously, I can't quote him.
Nice.
That would be breaking our code.
Okay.
Yeah, I like a lift conversation. I'm uneasy in a lift when no one's speaking and all looking. You know, when I'm in a tube in London, for you, for people listening outside of London, which is, I should think, most. I don't know. Anyway,
Yes.
the tube stations have got big lifts in them where you go up and down, and there's very little conversation
Edmund
in those.
style.
Yeah, no one really chats in those.
Oh,
But
you
you
never
mean-
talk in a lift,
You mean in a building lift? You like a chat?
I'd like to chat in a
do
lift.
you?
Yeah. I've
Psychotic.
You got an opener? Do you always start with like the hovercraft or something? Or
I often say things
so
like,
around tea bags? Was you?
I'll say, was that the snapping of cable? I can hear just stuff. I've said that in lifts.
Ow, that is so Frank, isn't it? That's so Frank.
Just to be light-hearted, you know.
Yeah, that's a
But Yeah, I think we should make an effort more, maybe, in this divided country of ours to talk more in lifts.
Do you know what I do in lifts? Well, you're going to hear.
Yeah?
When I enter a lift late, you know, when the doors just open, I walk in and I immediately say, the more people, the better. In fact, I did it the other day. I say, sorry, I'm one of those nightmare people that you were hoping the doors would shut on.
Oh, that's a
And
good
then
opener.
I look at the faces and I think the ones who laugh, you're on my side.
Yeah. I'll sometimes come in as if I've been called in, like Red Adair when one of the oil rigs was on fire. I was called in to rescue it. I'll walk in and I'll put my hand between a crowd of people to press the closed doors thing so we can just hurry things up a bit, guys.
Wow.
The situation is now in my hands. Oh, if you've got any lift etiquette or behaviour tips, 81215.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
There's a wonderful missive from 036.
Mm-hmm.
As a fully paid up member of the poor, I would like to apply for some of Big Daddy's Terry's chocolate orange segment cast-offs.
Yeah, I'll put that in a segment carton.
I wonder if I can have some of the wrappers as well to insulate my cardboard box.
Oh, no.
Prisoner 036.
I'm sorry, I'll be using those to buy Labradors for the blind. Do they still do that? When I was a kid, silver paper all went for Dogs for the Blind. That was what they did. I have no idea what they did with that silver paper.
Don't believe that's still a thing.
Okay.
Can I ask you both a question? You'll know, as two people who didn't forget to have offspring. Do children still take tin cans in on Harvest Day and perform songs in front of hay bales?
I don't know. There used to be those loaves, those plaited loaves that you used to get for the harvest. The harvest festival
was huge in my day.
Yes.
I mean, mine might, but I drift off when they're talking to me, so I'm not really sure what they...
Yes, I respect that.
I'm not aware of a harvest festival at Buzzy's school.
But don't you think, Frank, it's like, you know, we talk about how the celebrity horse is now a thing of the past. Horses were very red carpet back in the day.
Yeah.
The Harvest Festival, not what it was.
No, I wonder if that's because you'd think the pagan thing is due for a comeback.
You'd think?
Yeah. They've rejected the more orthodox strains of religion. You'd think that, it sort of fits in with the New Age thing, and you know, and the spirit of the sapling and stuff like that. So stick around for that one. You heard it here
12:15
first.
for any pagan text-ins.
Yeah, no, we don't get. I mean, I've met some lovely pagans, but
you don't want me to
they do
mobilise
go
them.
on.
And pluck your eyebrows.
No, that's the Green Man. He always looks like that. That's Branch. Oh, Mick Hocknell was telling me that
Extraordinary beginning to an anecdote.
he'd seen an outdoor laundrette. I never knew such a thing existed. He said, I was driving down the road. I think he was being driven. And he said, I was
He might
aware.
drive self.
He said, I was aware of these enormous washing machines just outside and people sitting.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you've seen them too?
No.
There are,
Well, he lives in Manchester, so the reason I bring it up
Just
is
down the road from me.
I thought it might be a Manchester...
probably neighbours, me and
Oh, you could be friend. That'd be a nice
phenomenon.
friend for you.
Mick Hucknall. Yeah, if he's listening, I'm happy to
He's a
chat
nice
to him.
bloke.
Oh, we've had Dave Baddiel and my dog groomer, and you and Hucknall.
I like the idea of like being able to have a nice smoke while you're watching your washing go around. That's good though, that, isn't it? It's just a lovely, relaxing thing.
It's almost like, how can I describe it? You know, like at a service station where you stop for fuel and perhaps a sandwich
Well,
and a
he said
coffee.
it was next to a service station because when I said to him that means everyone could smoke, and he said, well, it's quite close to the service.
Can I
the
ask
fuel
a
pumps.
question? What the hell is going on?
Yeah, what are we talking about?
Yeah, so the washing machines are in the middle of the street. What's going on?
I think the ones I'm thinking of are kind of up against a wall at the side of... I mean, they're almost like drive-in. Like you would drive past it, stop, put your washing in. I've never used it. I've got my own washing machine. I don't like to brag on the show.
Hang on. What I wouldn't
Pretty high
trust
achieving guy over here.
I don't want any Tom, Dick or Harry to be watching...
Seeing your smalls in the car park.
Oh, that's the other thing, that you're going to get lines of middle-aged men just standing watching underwear go around.
Yeah.
I think so.
I hadn't thought of that.
Okay. No, Hucknell. Nice idea, but
Look, I'm
you
not
haven't
saying
thought it through.
He, hadn't
think
put-
he's got shares in
he
it.
was a witness rather than an instigator. Can I? I've got to speak up for Mick Hocknell in this.
Me
We were
too.
just-
Now he's been appointed my friend in this show.
Now you found out who lives
Yeah.
in the same postcode.
I like the idea that you could, in summer, you could do a whites wash and then and sunbathe at the same time, and at the end of it, you could put white clothes on to
Nice.
show your tan off.
That's a great idea.
I mean, it's making sense to me. The laundrette. And
Yeah.
if you've got any al fresco laundrette experiences, 12:15.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
You may recall that I suppose it's been about 2 years ago now. I lost quite a lot of weight and got like super slim and
yeah, when you were on your regime.
I was on a regime.
You became a thin inspiration.
I did, and which is often quite a bad thing, can I
Yeah.
say? But on this tour, I have developed very much a tour belly, and there's me and Omar, my tour manager, and Pierre, my support act, and
The gang.
we've just started eating. I mean, Pierre will stop the car for biltong if he sees biltong somewhere.
Right.
And it came to we've all put
Can we say
weight.
that's a food,
Yes,
not a passing traveller?
no.
Picking up men.
It's all gone a bit biltong, as they say in South Africa.
South African males.
So I think we've all put weight on, and I think we get an all-time low when we was in a Zillies in Exeter.
Is that still going?
Yeah, and I think it was a Zillies anyway, and we complained about the portions not being big enough on a meal. And we actually,
didn't.
we made a big, and
That's so humiliating.
and
Who was the spokesperson? Let me guess.
it wasn't me really. It was very much. I mean, Omar really did. Omar's gone online about the portions.
Did it?
And I said, this is what's happened to us now. We've become such pigs that we've gone to... what the great thing, afterwards we were at a Christmas market saying, we're disgusting these portions, eating fudge.
You know what? I'm going to ask you about the exact location off air of this place, and I'm going to look this up. The
Yeah.
complaint.
Read the review.
You're on
Well-
forums now, Frank.
I mean, it might, it was. We had a difficult because I said, first of all, I asked for a pizza, and I said I only ever have pizza. I didn't tell him this, but I only eat pizza with anchovies. Like, for me, if it doesn't have an anchovy, it's not a pizza. Which, interestingly, one of the characters from Futurama, I remember saying exactly that and thinking, oh, it's not just me there. Anyway,
I thought you meant that you heard it on Futurama and then adopted it as a life rule.
I'm not saying they took it from me. It was just
right.
two parallel thought. I think it's just
if you think they took it from you,
I don't think they took it from
they
me.
generally did.
No, really.
Okay.
Futurama.
I know who you are, who's stolen some of my
My
questions.
dad written. My
I'll tell
dad
you
always
later.
believed that he'd written the tune to Winter Wonderland,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that people had overheard him. He wrote as a kid. Yeah, it was called that "You Can Be So Happy If You Try." You can be so happy if you try.
He said he wrote that.
But you see, there's the Terry's Chocolate Orange moment. If they'd have gone with my dad's lyric, it wouldn't be a seasonal song, and they could use it all the year round.
Good point.
Tell me what. So hang on. I want to know more about the.
Yeah, as they say on podcast, there's a lot to unpack here.
No,
Is that
where
what you
were
mean?
we? He was telling us about something.
Oh
to
yeah,
do-
so I asked about that, and he said, "No, we don't. It says we're very
Anchovies.
authentic.
Anchovies on the pizza.
We're
Don't put
authentic
anchovies
Italian restaurant." He said anchovies is an American thing on
Is
pizza.
it?
Well, I didn't know that, but I mean, I took it as.
Have you done any research?
Did he say what
I
my
haven't.
father said when he was asked by a bouncer, got an invite? And my father said, the word invite is an American corruption.
No, but I mean, I didn't know that. Obviously, I didn't have a pizza because they hadn't got one with anchovies.
You just
They
changed
didn't
your
have an
order.
additional topping option.
So what did you order?
So I went for the what's it called? The sort of creamy bacon.
Of course you did.
Yes,
Oh, you carbonara.
I went for a carbonara.
Feel really
But
pleased
as I said to the man, you could have brought it on a spoon. Why dirty a plate?
You didn't.
Waspish in his feedback.
Yes.
The greed of the man.
Yeah, we were like animals. Hey, well, this is Rob, and Omar had something else. But again, it's much too small for him. He was furious. And the fact that we stood eating, I was eating sea salt fudge at a Christmas fair. So it was absolutely. I mean, if it's a main course, it's a main course. They had Marmite fudge for sale at this store. Which turned out to be quite divisive.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website. You have been making contact, I think.
They have, yeah. Sometimes you get a text in that's just got a nice turn of phrase. And
lovely.
262 has answered our... I mean, it's a bit of an odd text in. Do outdoor washing machine places, outdoor laundrette, I suppose you could call it.
Yeah.
Do they really exist?
Well, no,
So we've been
can
discussing
I say
those.
I'm not questioning
Their very
the
existence.
hot alien truth.
Oh, okay.
What I was knowing is if someone can tell us a bit more, because Mick Hocknell had just spotted one from a car window. He didn't have
Oh,
the
he hadn't
inside
been-
info. Mick Hocknell can't go to an outside
He
laundrette.
doesn't wash his own stage clothes at an
No.
outdoor laundrette.
Oh, do you know what I like?
It'd be great
Is that-
though if you put in a pair of red pants with the whites wash and it all went simply red. I mean, that's very good. Amazing.
The producer audibly groans. I mean, I don't know if that's
It's been nice
allowed.
knowing her.
Has it? Yes, no, it has. Frank, also, you know what I like, Al? I just like to say, the way Frank's talking about Mick, I like it. It's like they're two mates in the pub. He's saying, hey Mick, do you know about those washing
Well, I tell
machines?
you what happened is I did Zoe Ball's radio show about 3 weeks ago, and Mick Hocknell was on there doing a live session.
I bet he's good
acoustic
live,
session.
Mick.
He's got the voice. I tell
Oh,
you.
he's still
Can
got
sing.
it?
And then I did Chris Evans' show yesterday, and Mick Hocknell was on doing a live session. So we've bonded.
Yes. That would be nice fun for you.
262 has texted, there's one on a garage forecourt not far from Conisborough Castle. Shame you missed it when you were up here. And then, get this for a phrase, a reet treat for us all to have seen Frank sat on a plastic chair waiting for the rinse and spin to finish.
I love a retreat.
There's a Subway sandwich shop next to it, so you could have kept topping up whilst waiting.
I mean, well, exactly.
Anyone else?
This idea of this
Your
fat,
recent appetite.
fat man on tour. Oh, wow. I'll say this, I've just opened a bar of chocolate that Emily bought me, which is black and burnt barley chocolate.
Wow.
I'm only eating it for the
What's your one that I
alliteration.
got you?
Dark nibs and raspberry, which is also my online name.
That's
Fabulous.
Frank's S&M community name.
And I'll tell you what this is for the greedy man, this chocolate, because it's not
did-
in squares.
I did bear you in mind.
Oh,
I think the
see.
idea is that you take the whole bar down like a lozenge and then rinse it down with a glass of water.
Yeah.
Good.
It's got
Well,
a crazy paving.
I've been given
element to
I've
it.
been given word of recent dietary events.
Anyway,
so-
I'm gonna have a.
Lovely.
I don't know how you break. This is me
This is like a
breaking
Radio 4 play, isn't
black and burnt barley. Oh, it broke.
Do you know when I was
Beautifully.
in a Radio 4 play? I must have been about 11, I think, my first one.
What was it?
Oh, now you're asking. I can remember, but you'll have to. Oh, it was called. I don't know if I should. Oh, I think I can say it.
Is that what it was called?
No, but it's slang for a swear word, so I want to check with you off, just because. Do you see?
Just Can you whisper to the producer?
Oh, okay. I'm going to indicate it. It's the name of someone, and readers can guess, from a European country where, in fact, chocolate is a big export. No guessing.
Belgium?
No. Otherwise,
Okay.
they will just guess.
Okay.
Not Belgium. Another one.
Okay.
Cuckoo clocks as well.
Oh, yes, I have it.
And perhaps someone who works in the city.
Is it Fanny by Gaslight? Okay. I don't know. It's just, you know, it's
Okay,
just,
I
I thought it was better
reckon
to have a
readers
guess
will
than not
guess.
to have a guess. You've
Okay.
got to be in it to win it.
It's a good guess.
Yes. Okay. Well, you can. Well, I'll tell you what. We go to a break now. The Fez has
See if they
arrived,
can
and then
guess
you
it.
can. Then you
I
can.
just don't want to say it because it's so associated with a very famous bit of rhyming slang.
Oh.
Okay? So we think cuckoo clocks and chocolate. The
Yeah.
second word, you think people that work in the city that deal with money or on high streets. Thank you.
Okay.
Good day.
Oh, I get it.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Lovely quiz for people.
Cuckoo clocks and chocolate always let me down. Roger Federer there with his new single.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Boys have been tucking into the Icelandic chocolate I got them. How's it going down? I mean, Frank's tucking into everything right now. The quality control is pretty much out the window.
Oh, I mean, I achieved so much with that diet. It's all gone.
It's quite strange, Frank, isn't it?
You know when you used to go to Starbucks and you think, I might have that big bit of cake there with it as well. I mean, it's just... yeah, it's strange, but
Okay.
when I first had it, I thought, oh no. And then it grew on me I'm about halfway through the bar now.
Yeah.
Has it made... I've eaten some and it's black. Has it made our teeth a bit Les Miserables?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, right, I look like Cosette.
Otherwise, we're okay.
I didn't have to worry about that aspect. I use black toothpaste, actually.
So do I.
Charcoal.
you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys.
Well, it was a bog off in Superdrug.
Hail from the Black Country. I have a missive, which I love, 792. This is from Joe. We were talking about lifts.
Joe girl or Joe boy? Or Joe boxer?
Boxer B, I'll let you decide.
Okay.
Hi, Frank, Emily and Alan. I once had an awkward moment in a lift with Harold Pinter when I was working at the Old Vic.
Right.
Okay?
Harold Pinter's well-known playwright.
I said something, just to be friendly. There was a moment's silence.
Well, there would be.
And he replied, "What?" And I smiled to myself, thinking, I've had my very own Pinter pause.
Oh, lovely.
That's from Joe.
Well, a friend of mine had a very long affair with Harold Pinter.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just, just throwing in the Pinter. It's a Pinter moment. Yeah. What else?
Well,
It's hot. It's getting hot in it.
Okay. We've all had a few.
Yeah.
Well, a few bars of chocolate in Frank's cat.
I think I won on the chocolate with my
you?
slightly lighter chocolate and raspberry. It's,
did you?
Did you like...
I didn't taste it as Frank did of his. It's very odd.
No,
was your review.
I'll tell you what,
That was odd.
it was like I'd lined up, say, 20 Victorian kitchen women. I cleaned their fingernails and then ate that. But I'm still. But that's when it first started. But I'm.
Is it growing on you?
It is growing
Do
on
you
me.
know what? I think it's the chocolate equivalent of my personality.
Oh, I know.
Do you?
No, bear with. At first I grate.
I wouldn't
It
ever
takes a
say you
while.
were. Yes, go on.
And then after a while you get used to it and you think, better in than out.
This is all right.
Yeah, I can do all right with this.
Black and burnt barley, though, sounds like some dystopian novel set on a dream holiday
I
island.
believe-
I've read a lot of dystopian novels.
I
this
bet you
year.
have.
Yes, you're very
this year.
dystopian
This
I
novel.
think you've written 4. You say you've written 4 this year?
wish.
I've lived several.
We once had a best dystopian novels.
We did.
It's a good text.
Which one did we go for? Because I had, it was a toss-up for me, very common dilemma between Time Machine and Brave New World.
Well,
I can't remember yours, Frank.
mine was Cormac McCarthy's The Road,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
which is
Yeah.
bleak.
Okay.
But brilliant. But let's not go back into this.
No.
We talked about that before. What's the point of repeating ourselves? I never repeat ourselves sometimes, but we just do it deliberately, like it's always going to be like that. Okay.
He eats a lot of sugar these
Little bit.
days.
Yeah. Sorry. I accidentally switched the LBC feed.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
I have a football news story to bring to your attention.
Goodness.
Yeah, it's about Frank Lampard, who's become a football manager in recent years. I haven't been taking that much interest, but he's
doing all right.
He's the manager at Chelsea, and it says here that he fines his players for various misdemeanours to keep them in check, if you'll forgive the pun. Demands £20,000 from them for being late to training.
What was the pun?
Check.
Oh, yeah.
Check.
You know, because
Petr check.
That's what-
no, it could have been
No.
CHEQUE. check.
Oh. Okay, I thought it was Petr
It's
check.
too complicated.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm not anti it.
The article then starts to use words like felony.
Yes.
That's a good one.
Well, we should say as
There's
well.
quite a lot
Sorry,
of different sanctions for different misdemeanours, it seems. So he's put some thought into it, I must say.
I remember a player telling me that when Tony Pulis first arrived at West Bromwich Albion, that he said to the captain, he said, "I'm asking you to keep an eye on this." He said, "I'm going to find the person who turns up last for training."
Yeah.
And like the next day, the captain said to him, "Well, they all turned up on time." He said, I don't care who turned up last." He said, "I want to find them."
That's clever.
That's a regime, though, isn't it? That
Yeah.
seems unnecessary.
despotic.
Exactly.
I have
be-
to say, Frank is following in the footsteps. I mean, there may be others, but Arsene Wenger, the old Arsenal boss, how we forget.
In those
he was a
days when
big
Arsenal
fan
had
of
a manager.
How dare you? He was a big fan of the fine. They were much more reasonable than Frank's. I think his was more. It was about £100 for sort of laptops and phones in the medical rooms. He had £100 for inappropriate attire, I think. And then he chose. Do you remember Per Mertesacker?
Yeah.
He was responsible for collecting the fines.
Oh.
And Arsene said at the time.
That makes him. That puts him in a difficult
Yeah.
situation.
But you know what I like? When
It's like a collaborator.
Yeah, I don't like that.
When Arsene
gone
was
off him.
asked about it, he said, the Germans do well economically and we respect that. Great response.
That's a very fine response.
But-
I mean,
Meanwhile, over with Frank, I mean, did you see the list, Frank? To use the second Frank, did you see that list, Frank?
What
Of
list
the
was it?
fines, of Frank's fines. It
Oh,
was
yes.
full on. 90 minutes of training, 10k.
That's if you miss 90 minutes, is that right?
No, that's if you're not there 90 minutes before. I do apologise.
I see.
90 minutes.
Wow.
You have
I
to be
suppose
there.
they thought, what's a random period? 90 minutes, that rings a bell. Let's go for that.
I mean, there are some that I don't think are that logical.
Go on.
There's a £1,000 fine for the wrong attire for match days, but I know I've not been following football that close.
Turn up in the wrong kit.
But they do get a kit, don't they?
They get a kit. Yeah.
Some striker in the goalie shirt or something.
Yeah.
Like, what's the...
Yeah,
Well, how?
exactly. Wearing a Tottenham shirt. Oh, no, that would go down badly.
Oh, what do you think of this, guys? Frank Lampard also has £1,000. What's the Cockney rhyming? Not rhyming slang, but what's the reference? You have like a monkey, or you have like what's £1,000? Text in 81215. I'd like to know.
Oh, no.
Phones going off during a team meeting
Yeah.
or a meal, £1,000.
I think that. I mean, there's something to me a bit swear box about this because
Yeah.
£1,000 is
Yeah, I
so
think it's-
little to these players. though.
I'm glad you added that caveat.
Isn't it a bit jokey?
Maybe. Also, I can't believe that none of them have thought to just put their phone permanently on silent. Surely.
What I like is it puts them in the
Mine is.
It puts them in the same Venn diagram as the Royal Shakespeare Company. I worked with an actor who said that you were fined for being late for rehearsals at the Royal Shakespeare Company.
Excellent.
What I like is I suspect
10 grand.
the old manager Maurizio Sarri. I wonder if he had if you forget to bring cigarette, £20,000. Give up smoking, instant dismissal.
Well, Patricia Hayes apparently was another old actress, and she came up with a terrible mouthful of profanity in some. Got angry in some rehearsal and then said, "You know, I didn't swear until I'd worked at the RSC."
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We have some news in from Washington.
Okay.
This is from someone.
Very important news.
The best news.
Yeah.
Terrible people. Terry, this is from Jen in Washington.
Okay.
Terry
I'm presuming this is Washington County Durham, is it?
No,
Oh.
it's Washington. Oh, possibly.
Yeah.
I didn't. Oh, okay. I assumed it was the
It's
Washington.
CD rather than DC.
Yeah, very.
Very good.
Terry started their chocolate fruit range with chocolate apples and did
What?
lemons in the late 70s.
Did they? Wow.
I don't understand it either, but they did try other fruits.
Wowee.
There you
Well,
go.
I'd love it.
This has been-
imagine trying one of those.
This has been
Yeah.
somewhat corroborated in a text by 133 who says, "My husband and I did the chocolate tour in York."
Yeah.
I like the fact they say that as if it's a thing we all know about in York. I
Oh,
mean,
because there was another Terry. Because they were called Terrys of York, weren't they?
well,
And there was a
were
thing
they?
called Terry's All Gold, which is like a box of chocolate.
See?
all
the
that time
face
in
you
York that you
love.
wasted on prehistory, now you realise you could have been stuffing your face on the
Oh,
chocolate tour in York.
My favourite was the ad. Do you remember? The man would hand over a box of all gold to the lady, always that way round, and the theme was, "See the face you love light up with Terry's all," and their
Oh,
face would
yes.
be bathed in a golden glow.
Yeah, because it would
That's
it'd be the
nice.
reflection coming off the lid, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
What a tremendous idea.
They did the chocolate tour and they it's about the origins of Terry's, and they actually started with a chocolate apple before settling on the orange. They had the chocolate apple packaging on display.
So they weren't commercially available, the apple and the lemon.
I don't know. They
The
don't.
lemon.
Oh, they were
What
prototypes.
meeting? What happened at that meeting when someone said, "What about chocolate lemon?" The people would go for that, wouldn't they?
I mean, I'm surprised they never went for the chocolate strawberry. Strawberry lends itself so well to the chocolate
I hope,
relationship.
And raspberry.
no one turned on just at that point. You get the chocolate, the dipped strawberry.
Yeah, I've
Yes.
always felt that. Very
Lish.
overrated that, though.
Oh,
You think?
Yeah. I'll tell you what happens. Something happens to the chocolate on a dipped strawberry and it sort of loses its chocolate.
Right.
That's what I've
I just think it's a bit. I don't like a chocolate strawberry. It's a bit what Alan Partridge thinks he should get on Valentine's Day.
Well, it's from the same place as a fondue. It's got that kind of feel to it, I would say.
Okay, so meanwhile, over.
Back at Chelsea.
Yes.
We've had an answer to another question that you asked, which is
Go on.
what is the rhyming slang for £1,000?
Oh, what is it?
Some
Pony? No.
Some wisecrackers have been texting saying it's a grand, but it's
Very
a
good.
bag of sand.
Oh, right, okay. Lovely. I'd just
okay.
like to know how, for example, I'd talk to Danny Dyer about this.
How you would talk? Oh, I
Yeah.
see. You'd say.
I'd say, if I
Well,
wanted
they're
to
charging a bag of sand if you're 90 minutes late. Gall blimey. Mary Poppins.
Cool, blimey.
Yeah. Does he say gall blimey? I
No.
don't know.
That's Dick Van Dyke.
I hope he doesn't.
But it's
I
a
don't
lot
know what
of money.
they would have done with. I mean, do you remember at West Brom when 4 players went to all night. It was a KFC or something, McDonald's. And then they sent the cab driver to get the food and they drove off in the taxi.
Yeah.
I mean, what would they? They got fined, I think it was 100,000 each.
It's one of those weird
Did
crimes
they?
where they
Yeah.
have to go into new territory for
It
the
is.
penalty.
Yeah, I mean, Frank Lampard's going to be going through the book going, now, God, what,
You're
where-
right off the chart.
Yeah, I think they got 100,000 each. Yeah, which is there's an FA ruling. I think it's that no fine can be more than 2 weeks' wages.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
And of course, as we know, football is perhaps the only place left where people talk about weekly wages.
What I like is that there was a sort of he'd used red font for the bit like a bailiff's letter,
Oh yeah,
which says after all fines paid within 14 days, after which these will all be doubled in caps and red font at the bottom.
He means business.
It's not messing.
but you'd think on a weekly pay they could just take them out their wages.
I want to know who's collecting them.
Where does it go? The money? Does it go to charity?
Yes, it does.
I
Oh, does
thought it would.
Yes.
That
Not
old,
directly to Frank Lampard.
That tired old fallback.
That's not allowed. That's another thing that the
Charity.
FA have got
I mean, I
involved
never
in.
saw Per actually take the money from Arsenal to the bank, in fairness.
No.
Point.
It said on the Per Mertesacker, it said,
lot
this
of
must be
questions
given to
about
him
Per
in
Mertesacker
cash.
tomorrow.
It said in cash.
Oh, they're giving him £1,000
It
in
said
cash.
on the sign, it said, because I remember seeing that, and it said, this must be handed to Per in cash.
And then an
no
asterisk saying,
later than 14
used
days.
notes only.
What, sorry, are we back to...
No, I was going back to Arsenal back in the day.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
2012.
Oh, but those
13,
were different times. Lots of cash was being handed over in football.
I don't know how these players would pay Frank, or whether, Al, is there a specific?
It won't be cash, I
Okay.
don't think.
Maybe they just use Apple Pay.
Yeah.
I don't know what
It's a
would have
lovely
happened.
idea, Al.
What would have happened to Fabian de Freitas? Fabian de Freitas played for West Brom, and they had a game on Bank Holiday Monday, Easter Monday, and he didn't turn up. They found his house, he hadn't got his phone on. Eventually his girlfriend phoned and said, well, he's in bed. He's got a match tonight. And they said, no, it's this afternoon. I think he got told off.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Don't want to overdo these outdoor laundrette textings that we're getting.
I'm interested in it.
But
Me
we have
too.
had quite a few that I've enjoyed. But this one has just arrived,
Yeah.
612. Hi, Frank and the team. During the summer, we visited the Cotswolds and saw an outdoor laundrette there. It was at a petrol station, and we did a double take when we saw it. We've never seen one before or since. I think the town was called Stonehouse. I just like the slightly E.T. vibe.
Everything, yeah, it is. It's the abominable snowman.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what it reminded me of. It reminded me of the weighing machines outside chemists
Oh, yeah.
that used to be chained up. They'd be physically chained so that I mean, they were really heavy.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
had they had a spate of
Weighing
thefts?
machine theft.
Yeah. I
Well.
don't quite understand. Or maybe they thought people would be so enraged by the results.
There was a lot of...
They might set upon it.
There was a lot of al fresco availability then because there was no 24/7 shops really in my childhood. There'd be things like chocolate vending machines in the street, cigarette vending machines.
Yeah.
So if you
At the station.
if you need a cigarette at 3:00 in the morning, you can go out and there's a vending machine.
Yeah.
And the brilliant thing is the change, the coins in change would be inside the cellophane of the cigarette packet.
No.
I
Shut
mean,
up.
it's like a magic trick, Mr. Holmes.
How
Also
did was there a little man in there? How did they do that?
Quite difficult for them to enforce the age restrictions on cigarettes in a vending machine.
Almost like they didn't
different
care.
times.
They were less picky then about that.
Yes. Someone,
that's
Lynn Arneson, has been in touch and is reminding us of the Terry's Neapolitans.
Oh, of course.
Just that do you remember those?
I don't know what these are.
Terry's branched out, and there was mocha version and the plain, which I was always very disappointed with. There was small mini chocolate bars. Okay,
No.
thank you, Lynn.
Completely gone.
So I'm thinking if I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and think I must know how heavy I am, I shall run to the chemist, and those weighing machines are no longer available.
Yeah. Different time.
24-hour weighing. That's why there was no obesity crisis in our day. Just saying.
Wow.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
I got told off actually about Northeastern Fact. I said Washington was in County Durham, but it was in County Durham, and I find the new county boundaries are put together by people in suits at City Hall.
From a similar neck of the woods, Mick in Sunderland has pointed out, we have the outdoor washing machine at my local forecourt. I certainly wouldn't put my normal wash in. Mine is used for the dog bed. I've seen people put horse stuff in and painters do their dust sheets.
Oh,
This is the trouble. If
the
you
dog bed.
if you democratise the washing machine, suddenly people take advantage.
Well, I'm all. It sounds
Winston
like
Churchill.
it sounds
thank
like
you.
a great place to hang out, though. I think you'll meet all sorts, wouldn't you? By the way, I had
the
to,
Copacabana,
The
Ross.
laundrette, I think it's very sad, and if anything, I would describe it almost as a tragedy that I missed out on laundrette culture, because I think I would have been one of those ladies who held her own in the laundrette. Don't you think? The sort of Dot Cotton
Yeah.
type.
okay, yeah.
I see myself in a lovely house coat.
Yes.
Well, there's still time. You could be one of the people that do the alfresco laundrette. That's right. It's a new movement.
So cold in this country. I'd have
New
to move
social
abroad.
movement. By the way, I had a call from Omar, my tour manager, about me talking about us complaining about the size of the portions, and I thought it was in. I said it was in Zillies in Exeter, and I thought he was saying, "Oh, I wish you hadn't said that on the radio and all this." In fact, he was saying it was actually ZZ. Let's get it right. Let's name names. So, yes, not Zillies. I'm thinking of our old friend Aldo Zillit. He would never give a small portion.
No, can I say I love that about Omar?
Yeah.
His precision and I'm choosing the right word to describe. What would you call it, Frank?
Pernickety.
I'd call it a bitter grudge.
Right.
He's
yeah.
actually not only... He's sent 3 texts. They say... This is what they say. ZZ's on Gandhi Street, ! Exeter. Okay, let's close this place down, guys. I mean, it might have been a one-off. They might have been a bit low on carbonara, and they had to, make do
Omar
amends.
is my kind of man.
Either that or he's watched that Newsnight interview with a certain royal and decided that all eating out is a future alibi.
Well, maybe. He certainly staked his claim early.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, it's not often I say this, but I think I've managed to find a potential challenger to take away your crown as king of Bit of a Git land.
Ah. Oh, yes, I know
This is going to be a posthumous award,
Yes.
but I think you'll agree he's a very worthy recipient. I don't know if you came across this. A tweet went viral this week after a lady called, was it Alex, based in Cardiff? She shared an old handwritten list that she'd found in her late grandfather's belongings. And this is your chief rival, posthumously.
Right.
He was essentially, it was a list. It wasn't entitled presents or food shopping for Christmas. At the top, it had written in full caps,
Yeah.
the detail I love most, Christmas cards not received. Now, there was a Jack, there was a Betty, sometimes sort of surnames. I'm calling it the Cardiff 16, the people
Right.
on the list.
Yeah.
We all know who they are. No one was spared. He had 3 grandchildren, I think, on there.
Yes.
And I really like this man.
I presume this was from 1 year when they hadn't sent a
Exactly.
list of the cards.
And he was upset. So do you think he was doing it so that he could keep hold of it next year to save money?
Well, I'll be honest. I really respect his organisation
Yes.
because
It was also alphabetical.
was it?
Yes.
You see, I'm like one of those waiters who I don't write down the order. I memorise it. And every year, when we go through the Christmas cards, I'm always saying, did they? I don't think they sent us one last year. I'm always looking for a
Yeah.
loophole.
So it does become reciprocal.
Oh, totally. To me, it's like tennis. You know, you hit the
Right.
shot. If they don't hit it back, they lose.
Right.
And the
How many
prize
strikes
is...
are they out?
Yeah.
Oh no, just one. That's deletion. Because I'm always, in an ideal world, I wouldn't send any at all.
Oh,
I'm
well,
having
that's my world.
I'm having a slight eco crisis about Christmas.
Are you?
I had a long phone call with Kath yesterday about what kind of Christmas tree was the best for the planet.
Well, I'm afraid
'Cause-
it's artificial.
Well, I'm not.
You
No,
reckon?
not apparently not.
It depends on the type of artificial, not plastic. But
Well,
we'll talk.
there are trees that what we went for, when we're going to go for. There are people that bring a tree in a pot and then take it away and replant it.
That's
but apparently
lovely.
they were all booked.
So
That's
what are you
the
going to
problem.
do?
Well, they do say with the real trees
Yes.
is that they're sort of bred to be chopped down. I mean, I
Okay.
don't know if the Lorax would take this
Good
as an
point.
argument. He's strict. And I put it on a big pile of Christmas trees, and apparently they turn them into wood chippings
When
and
you say
recyclable
you
things.
put it
Yeah.
on a
No.
big pile of Christmas trees, I think you'll find we put it.
Okay, but
Because
I
I was
see.
forced to drag it with him last year.
I'm always
I
part of the
remember.
carrying
Yes, you
posse. And so I think we are going to go. But if anyone's got any tips on what is the most morally acceptable tree, I'd love. The thing is,
Moral texting.
yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I think we
Interesting
should.
development.
I've got an idea, Al. I think if you have children, I think there should be a priority list. So those with children they are first dibs on the trees.
But we have an
And
added
then-
complication there, can I say? My son
Yes.
he's in his class, he is the eco warrior. So they have a meeting once a week when they talk about ecological topics. So he has got standards to keep on. So he has made us now. We feel that he's keeping an eye. It's a bit like when the Stasi got children to spy on their
Yes,
parents,
isn't it?
in East Germany.
Getting them early, aren't they?
So he's made us overzealous because we don't want that going back to school, and then it's
He's gonna
it's on
hand
the
you
Twitter
guys
feed.
over to Greta's mob.
Oh,
It's going to be
exactly.
awful.
I think though it should be like the carpool system in America, which should be the child catcher type members of society like myself.
Yeah.
As I refer to the child free. We come over, we have a specified days each week. If we want to sample the delights of the tree, then we do. Do you see? Share and share alike. You share and I like.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, Omar, who I'm getting a lot of mentions today, is very eco.
Mention items.
He's very eco-friendly.
Is he?
He was telling me he was thinking of putting one on the wall made out of some sort of tape. I mean,
Sounds
I
nice.
don't know what's happening to Christmas.
Well, like a picture of a tree.
Yeah, like a picture of a tree.
Sorry, what is this? A police incident room?
I know.
Of a tree.
I know. Well, no, I think it's supposed to come from the wall a bit, like a bit 3D. It's supposed to stick out. There's a method.
Horrible.
You could get 4 bits of card and
Four
make
bits.
a tree.
Didn't he used to work with Bernie Winters?
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Leroy Boyce
Oh,
has
yeah.
got in touch.
Leroy! Don't know what that's about, but I enjoy it.
Boise, as I like to call him.
I think of Leroy, Kids from Fame.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, Divine Miss M. Frank on the radio, and I read this out because, Leroy, I do apologise. You have got in touch with me several times. Frank on the radio recently said he'd read a book so good that he immediately read it again. Could you please ask him what it is, as I really want to give it as a Christmas present? Thank you.
Good idea.
Over to you, Frank. Can you remember this information? Me neither.
Oh, what was it?
No, I can't remember. Leroy, we will get back to you.
I've been through a lot. 'Cause I'm on tour. I'm reading.
We don't
a
want to know about
lot.
that, right?
Are you?
No, but in the old days, now in hotel rooms, I tend to read.
Or is it the Gideon?
It wasn't the Gideon.
Okay.
A lot of them, they don't have a Gideon now in the drawer. Can you believe that?
Really?
Goodness me. We were
That
talking.
seems unfair that the calibre of hotel I'm in have got Bibles and the ones
Is
that
that
you're
right?
in haven't. Maybe it's
I
the
think
further
that-
up the...
I phone ahead and get Bibles put in the rooms you're staying in.
That's the sort of thing you do.
Oh, I haven't given up on you, Alan.
Well, we're talking about Gittish grandparents, so may I use my GP grandfather as a ramp from that anecdote back into the story we're discussing?
Oh, yes.
He used to go down watering wine. My mother caught him once
Okay.
at my parents' dinner parties.
Just need to make a note of something.
And he would
Hang
say,
on.
because he hated drunkards, he
Great
hated people
idea.
getting drunk, and he said, and he was a doctor, and he was very concerned about the health matters, and he would water down people's wine without them realising. And my mother caught him and said, "This is Sancerre or whatever." He said, "It's much better for them, dear. They don't know."
Correct.
Well, there's an old Peter Sellers story about when he was going around in rep and stuff. He used to stay at theatrical digs, and he stayed at one place and he had a bottle of sherry which someone had given him. And he noticed that the sherry had gone down like a couple of inches in the bottle. Clearly the landlady was trying it. And the next day it went down a bit more, so he urinated in the bottle and topped it up. Next day it went down a bit more. Next he urinated in it again, went down a bit more. And at the end of the week, he said to her, "So did you enjoy my sherry, by the way?" And she said, "Oh, I wasn't having it. I was putting it in your trifle."
Oh! Absolute
Anyway.
Radio doesn't condone any part of that story.
No.
I'm guessing.
No.
Terrible prank. So yes, this granddad who
He's keeping a list of people that haven't.
Chef,
I think, wouldn't it be great to just, if we just all got, we live in the age of social media, we can organise this. We could all say, let's just give up on Christmas cards altogether. Clinton's, I think, has gone anyway.
Oh, yeah.
And just, we don't need it. We can just send each other lovely, warm, individual emails saying, I've really missed you this year.
I think the problem is the idea of a lovely warm email. It just jars a little bit.
I know.
Well, I don't
It's
know.
good, we've got to take a while to
Ow.
get organised. I've had a few warm emails in my time.
Oh dear.
Then I found out it was Peter Sellers. I've been topping him up every day. Sorry.
I would say I favour the WhatsApp or the text. It's very anti-aging as a Christmas missive because only the young send it. I've decided to follow their lead. Happy Xmas to you. Heart emoji, champagne glasses clinking emoji, send.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Job's a good one.
I'm in my mid-40s, but I'm just going to do Snapchat for this year's Christmas.
Yeah, I'm doing...
There's a new one. What's the new
flat
app?
pack.
TikTok.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
do you know
right.
TikTok?
Oh, TikTok,
That was what I
of course.
thought I was referencing.
Yes, I love TikTok.
You know when
what I love
someone
about
says-
TikTok
Of
is
course.
it's so easy to get on board with it. They've made it very simple. The whole thing. I mean, it's enormous in Southeast Asia. But yes, I'm a big fan of
Yes.
TikTok. I was winding mine up just this morning. No, but yes, and also they can move and you can have music on them. You could record videos for your friends. Hi,
All right, yeah.
hi, Steve.
I
How you
do
doing?
a traditional birthday message for Kath every year. You may be familiar with it. Have you ever seen them? I do a special video.
Oh yeah,
as
she
a man.
loves those.
She
I've never
prefers
seen them.
those.
She forces them upon me. She loves
Bit
those.
rude.
Yeah,
Jealous?
I think let's start the campaign here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well done, Frank.
Thanks very much. I hope boss is listening. He might give me back those things he's compounded. Is it compounded? Impounded?
I think it's impounded.
Impounded? Rompounded?
I'm going to give it thought.
Okay, thanks.
Don't ask Descartes.
12:15.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We've been discussing this. We've been discussing this man who was found to have kept a list of people that hadn't sent him a Christmas card, a Mistmas card list, if you
Lovely.
will.
Oh, very nice.
I feel like I should be a headline writer when I come up with corkers like that.
Well,
I do.
the scope.
yeah.
Can I ask a question about this story? The siblings and nephews and grandkids that were named on the list, was it cleared with them before the list was published?
Good question.
Interestingly, I have some updates on this.
Oh.
The
Have
lady.
you gone forensic?
I've gone Claire Danes in Homeland, as you know I do.
Do you want to be outed as the boy who Grandad never forgave?
Well, interestingly, the lady in question, I haven't given her surname because she put it on Twitter. It went viral, and there were people named in full, 16 of them. She's now taken her account offline.
Yeah.
I just wonder if there might have been some family
Yeah.
disagreements. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there was a
I've
little
been-
bit of suspicion in the comments, because somebody had said, "Oh, well, I was just clearing up some stuff recently, and I found an old letter from 6 years ago, and it was way more aged than this list." And they started getting a bit Columbo about
Carbon dating.
why isn't this letter more yellow, ma'am? And they started saying, "I'm not sure I believe it."
Well, it's a bit.
Oh, people always say that on the internet.
Well, there's an entire website, isn't there, that didn't
because
happen
there's
of the year awards, where if someone says their child did something,
Oh,
they
yeah.
post didn't
There is
happen.
a lot of that. though,
Yeah,
isn't
but
there?
there's a lot of people who things do happen, but they don't have the intelligence to recognise their significance. And so when other people talk about things happening, they think that couldn't happen because nothing ever happens to me. It does, but it's the other side of that fog, which you refer to as your consciousness.
Sarah, would you be able to collect all that together into a transcript of it so I could send that to anyone who says, didn't happen of the year?
As far as I'm concerned, I never said that.
488 has
Pics, or it didn't
texted you. 488 has texted you, Frank. Hi, Frank. With you on Eco Christmas. Met you at the Cambridge Folk Festival in the burger queue a few years ago.
Well,
Regards, Alan Riddle.
That'll be why you're with me on Eco Christmas. That was when the guy, I remember that, because the guy at the counter, when I got up, he said, "All right, Frank, we met before." He said, I sold you a corn on the cob at Gay Pride. I said, I don't remember that.
I sold you a corn on the cob, okay?
Was it a euphemism?
I don't know what it was.
I mean, honestly.
I don't eat corn on the cob, but I bought 6. No, anyway.
Oh, for heaven's
No, it was a great...
What about on Gay Pride when we went into our lovely cafe and Frank said, "I don't feel we should be sitting here. This is your special day."
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think we should be taking a seat that should, exactly. We were, step back. It's not our day.
Step back in time, Kylie Minogue. Yes, it was playing.
Oh, it was. Yes. Lovely.
There you go.
How did it go, Step Back in Time?
I can sing it. Step back in time. Ball of
Was it one of these?
confusion.
Was it one of these when she was going slightly off the boil?
No.
It wasn't from the golden age, was it, of Kylie?
Oh, I say it was.
It wasn't Je ne sais pas pourquoi type.
It was just after. It was a
was it?
wonderful song.
Okay.
Okay, I don't want to sing the
I've
whole
had
thing.
enough of hearts broken and I don't want... That's what I like. It's my favourite still. Where is she now?
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
We were talking
Yes.
about this lovable rogue, friend of the show.
Late Lovable Road.
Yes.
LLR.
Possible bit of a git. The guy who kept a list of people who hadn't sent him a Christmas card. Do you think that's an age thing? Do you think there's a certain
bitterness.
point where you start collecting that kind of data?
But why should you send Christmas cards to people who don't send them to you, though? Why?
Yeah.
But why? Exactly. You have no answer.
But I do think at Christmas, I do store away information in a slightly mean-spirited way, if I'm honest. For
That's
example,
what Christmas is for.
Yes,
For
splendid.
example, I know when I exchange emails with people, and it happens to be, let's say, around this time, and I get a response saying, "Oh, it'll be lovely to see you soon." I don't always mean it. One's
No.
got to say it. When you get a reply saying, "Yeah, we'll have to do something in the new year," gone. Forget it.
Yeah. Of course
Now-
I'm going to do something in the new year.
Or you
But
think it's
also-
too soon to be making New Year arrangements?
No.
At
I
this
don't
point
like
in
the
the
way everyone uses the New Year vagueness to hide behind.
No,
you
right,
don't want to
right.
see me, I don't want to see you. let's call the whole thing. Forget it.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just a sign off. I'm just saying I'm guilty of it myself. I'll say we must meet up in the new year. Do you not see?
I do, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
I think the new year never comes. That's what we're saying. Can I point out that Zoflora, a company I've never heard of, but I'm told by the producer, what was the word? Trendy. Have sent me a personalised disinfectant spray bottle.
Oh,
Well, it's the first
I love that.
for me.
I'm jealous.
And I'm a very much a freebie magnet, but no one has ever sent me a personalised disinfectant bottle.
Do you know why that is, Al?
What it must be like living your life.
Oh man!
Do you know why no one sends them?
Glad of that with the S&M community.
Oh, Frank, you really ruined
If
it.
only for
I
wounds.
thought they enjoyed the smell of the bleach.
No, but it's you got to keep it antiseptic.
Well, he doesn't need it. Oh, it's gross. He doesn't need this because Kath once described you during your courtship period to me as Frank.
It was something like spotlessly clean, or
She
something.
said one.
Immaculate.
Very good. She said the thing I love about Frank is he's absolutely immaculate.
Yeah.
It always reminds me of John Lennon in A Hard Day's Night saying he's a very clean old man about his granddad.
Well, every morning I stand up in the sink and she rubs me down with half a fire brick. Anyway, by the way, the next show we do is pre-recorded. I should tell you that.
Oh yeah.
And when we do a pre-recorded show, we miss you, our readers, because obviously you're not texting in and doing stuff. So what we're going to try and do, if you've got any thoughts about anything interesting at all, how do we make sure we get them, producer?
Email.
Just to us.
Sorry, I took over a bit of the
I don't want,
producing job there,
You know,
didn't I?
I don't want Dave Berry doing them on his breakfast show ahead
point.
of us.
Good point.
Send them to us.
Send them to us, and we'll try and also we can be on Instagram and Twitter and
Or
try and
tweet
keep it,
us.
Yeah, and
I always check the tweets.
keep it all alive. Let's try and do that with the When's the pre-record?
Thursday.
We're
So,
pre-recording Thursday.
This
'cause
is
that
your
makes-
Martin McCutcheon moment.
Exactly, this is your moment. What was the Andrew Lloyd Webber Eurovision song that was My Time, It's My Time? One of the worst things that ever happened. And I include both world wars. No, I don't. So look, I don't. It's a joke. I've messed up my ending bit. That's awful. I'm sorry. Everyone. Should we do it again, Jeff? Live, you say? If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.